this is another question. It's a two-parter. Two people have asked this question. The first is, how long did it take for the project to become profitable? But another question we have coming in is, if you don't want to use this as a business, if you want to use it to support your community, is that option available? So I think these are two questions. One is, I guess, what are Churchill's goals in this? And is it to become profitable? If yes, when did you kind of see that coming to play? And if not, talk a little bit more about like what are your goals for the project if it wasn't to turn over a profit? And this is for Carley.
Sure. So I get asked a lot actually by curious potential new users are about how we make money and how things like that. And I would say that the Churchill Northern Studies Centre, yes, yeah, we sell lettuce now, but that's not actually what we do as an organization. We're like a research and education organization. Our mandate has been to understand and sustain the North. We're not really operating the unit per se for profit. We haven't changed our pricing in 3 years. If the project were to pay my wage, it wouldn't make any money. We bring in interns. You know, the unit itself only maybe requires 20 to 30 hours a week of work, but I work here full time. So I would say that we're kind of already running it for the benefit of Churchill and for the broader Northern Manitoba. You know, we still call on support from other organizations within Manitoba, like the Northern Manitoba Food, Culture and Community Collaborative, the Northern Healthy Foods Initiative, through Indigenous and Northern Affairs, to support us so that we can do other things with the project aside from just the growing and distribution of the rocket greens. So, you know, we've trained an intern. Last year I took on a full-time intern. So clearly, like, the project itself doesn't require 2 people full-time attention, like 80 hours a week attention. That's not how it's designed. But we brought in our intern, Brittany Weber. She's probably watching right now, and she's gone on to grow food hydroponically in Kluane, Yukon, on a different brand. So she may be the only person in all of Canada now that's cross-trained on 2 types of containerized gardens. So that's very unique. We've taken on some additional projects. Well, in a non-COVID year, we did some outdoor growing of potatoes and did some seedling starting to support local growers with the help of Northern Manitoba Food, Culture and Community Collaborative. So we're trying to like sort of increase the community engagement and be a little bit more involved and continue to look at like the food security thing as like a broader issue, or just the sustainability of remote communities. So yeah, we grow and sell lettuce, but if you actually plugged in all of the time and everything that we do, it probably doesn't look that great on paper. It does generate revenue for us, and we're super happy with that. But we're sort of like running it as an opportunity to just constantly be engaged with other communities and share our experiences. Like, I think that's just become a big part of my day to day. But if you were to carve out just my time spent on the unit and the pricing and stuff, I think that we're falling in line. And when I draw up my harvest plans and I make my contacts with our customers and partners, I treat it as a business. I want to put out as many units every week as I can. I understand that that's important for the health of the project. It's great to offer all of those different things to the community. So I've spoken to lots of potential entrepreneurs, and I believe in the economic model that the grocer puts out. I think that that's valid. We're running ours a little different. We don't meter the hydro. We don't really keep track of how much water goes in there. We just do it, and then try and share as much as possible with others about what that's like. So.
Mm-hmm. And Corey, this is also a question that you can answer as well, kind of building on this question. Someone wants to know, if you don't want to charge your community members for the boxes, but give it as a food security project. So I'm thinking more donations, or, you know, partnering with community organizations. How much would the estimated cost be to run it for a year? So I think the issue is, can you have a model that is heavily donation based and still be able to cover your costs of operating the unit? Have you seen that before? What do you think?
Yeah, I would say every community is different. So the operating cost in Churchill is going to be very different than the operating cost in, say, Harvey at Nunavut. So, I would talk to someone specifically about their location and their local costs. But by and large, if we're using a project like Carley's as a baseline, it's about $30,000 to $40,000 a year in operating costs. And again, that's with the caveat that, as Carley said, that would only be the time she's spending, in the grocery unit. It's fractional amount of a full-time person. From a community donation point of view, one model we've seen work quite well is to sell a portion of what is grown and sell that sort of for profit to basically generate that $40,000 a year in revenue to offset the operating costs. And essentially, once you reach that break-even point, everything else you grow that is surplus is gravy, essentially. So to give a sense of what a normal system can do, it can produce somewhere in the 400 to 450 weekly heads of lettuce. So using that as a kind of a comparator. And if you were to grow and sell about half of that at a similar price point to what Carley's doing, the other half could be donated free of charge to community members in need or community organizations. And Carley does a little bit of that here and there with surplus, but as a core business strategy, we've seen it happen a couple times with some success. So it is something that's possible. And then, depending on the donor base of any given organization, if they know they can count on $40,000 a year from donor, hypothetically, 100% of what's grown could be donated.